My girlfriend was secretly dating 2 men at the same time, and when I confronted her, she claimed it was my fault for not being enough for her. Hey Reddit. I had been with my girlfriend, Emily, for 2 years. Our relationship seemed strong, or at least I thought it was. We talked about moving in together, adopting a dog, and even going on a big vacation to Europe next year. I thought we were building a life together. Then, a few months ago, things started to change. Emily began acting differently, spending more time on her phone, guarding it like a hawk, and making excuses for why she had to stay late at work or hang out with friends I'd never met. At first, I didn't think much of it. I trusted her. Relationships are built on trust, right? But the signs became too hard to ignore. One night, we were watching a movie together when her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and quickly turned the screen away. I caught a glimpse of a heart emoji in the notification. She said it was from her coworker, but something about the way she brushed it off didn't sit right with me. A few days later, she left her laptop open on the dining table while she went to take a shower. I'm not proud of what I did next, but my gut told me something was wrong. I clicked on her messages, and what I found shattered my world. She had been texting a guy named Ryan. Their conversation was flirty and intimate, with messages like, "Last night was incredible. I miss you already." My hands shook as I scrolled through their chat, but it didn't stop there. There was another conversation with a guy named Chris. His messages were just as damning, talking about how much he loved spending time with her and how excited he was for their weekend plans. I couldn't believe it. Emily wasn't just cheating, she was maintaining 2 full-blown relationships with other men. I felt sick. That evening, when she got home, I confronted her. I told her I had seen the messages. Her face paled, but she didn't deny it. Instead, she crossed her arms and said, "Maybe if you paid more attention to me, I wouldn't have needed to look elsewhere." Her words stunned me. She blamed me for her cheating, claiming that I had been neglectful and emotionally unavailable. I couldn't believe her audacity. I told her to leave and never come back. She grabbed a bag and stormed out, calling me selfish and immature as she slammed the door behind her. Update. In the days after Emily left, I felt hollow. I couldn't sleep, eat, or focus on anything. My mind kept replaying the confrontation and all the little moments that had seemed off over the past few months. How long had she been doing this? Did I really miss so many red flags? One night, I decided I needed answers. I couldn't let it go without knowing the full truth. I found Ryan on social media and sent him a message explaining who I was and what I had discovered. I didn't expect a response, but to my surprise, he replied within an hour. Ryan was just as blindsided as I was. He told me he had been dating Emily for about 6 months and had no idea she was seeing anyone else. He thought they were exclusive. When I told him about Chris, he was furious. I also reached out to Chris. He was just as shocked as Ryan, though his story had an added twist he already knew about Ryan. Emily had told him they were in an open relationship. Chris had accepted it because he loved her and wanted to make things work. When I told him about me, he went silent for a long time before saying, "I feel like a complete idiot." Talking to Ryan and Chris was both painful and cathartic. We ended up piecing together a timeline of her deceit. It became clear that Emily had been living a double or rather, triple life for over a year. She had expertly juggled all 3 of us, weaving intricate lies to keep her world intact. Ryan and Chris were both devastated, just like I was. Strangely, our shared pain created an unlikely bond between us. Another update. Emily tries to justify herself. About a week after our breakup, Emily texted me. She said she wanted to talk and explain herself, claiming she needed closure. At first, I ignored her. What more could she possibly say to justify what she had done? But her persistence wore me down, and eventually, I agreed to meet her. We met at a coffee shop. As soon as I saw her, a wave of conflicting emotions washed over me, anger, sadness, and a tiny flicker of the love I once felt for her. She looked calm, almost indifferent, as if she had rehearsed what she was going to say. She started by saying, "I never wanted to hurt you, but I wasn't happy." I asked her why she didn't just end the relationship if she was unhappy. Her answer infuriated me. She said, "Because I didn't want to lose you. You're a good person, but you weren't giving me everything I needed." When I pressed her about Ryan and Chris, she tried to paint herself as the victim. She claimed she felt unfulfilled and that juggling multiple relationships was her way of coping. I told her how selfish and cruel that was. She didn't seem to understand the depth of the pain she had caused. She kept saying things like, "You have to see it from my perspective, and I didn't plan for it to happen like this." By the end of our conversation, I realized she wasn't there to apologize or take responsibility. She wanted me to absolve her of guilt, to make her feel better about her actions. I told her I wanted nothing more to do with her and left. Final update. It's been a month since Emily left, and I'm finally starting to feel like myself again. The first few weeks were a blur of anger and sadness. I kept replaying every moment of our relationship, wondering how I could have missed the signs. Therapy has been a game changer for me. My therapist helped me understand that Emily's actions weren't about me, they were about her. She made the conscious choice to lie, cheat, and manipulate, and there was nothing I could have done to change that. As for Ryan and Chris, we've stayed in touch. We've even joked about forming a support group for the men Emily deceived. While it's strange to bond over something so painful, it's also been incredibly healing. I've started focusing on myself again. I've picked up new hobbies, reconnected with friends, and even started hitting the gym regularly. For the first time in a long time, I feel optimistic about the future. Looking back, I'm grateful I found out the truth, even though it hurt. Emily's betrayal taught me a lot about what I want and deserve in a relationship. I'm stronger now, and I know that the right person is out there, someone who will love and respect me the way I deserve.